to well, welcome everybody, and I apologize for the confusion with Robin. I need to we're talking about communication today, and I need to be in this class clearly, so and learning my time zone. So again, I apologize. Robin, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here today with us, Sharon. I'm excited just to hear what you got to share. But let me just do a little formal introduction of you, and then I want you to feel free to add any additional information. So Robin obviously is with EXP. She's a 3-time icon. She was named the 100 most influential real estate agents in the Charlotte North Carolina area by the Real Estate Executive magazine. She averages more than a closing a week. Come on, who would like to have that? And she was named, she was ranked number 195 in sales volume in the whole Charlotte area. And so you guys are going to hear from just a master today. And Robin, is there anything additional to add to all those amazing accolades?
Well, thank you. I can now add that I'm a 4-time icon. So
okay.
Yes, and get ready to hopefully chalk up 5. But no, thank you for that beautiful, warm welcome. I appreciate it. I see some familiar faces on here. Hi, friends. And I see new faces that I've never seen before. Michael, you have great hair. Wow. Good stuff.
Yes, he does. He hears that all the time.
Yes,
right? I love the hair. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Mike and Jeff and Tim. Tim, I've met you before, I believe, throughout the years. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good stuff. Hi, Ann and Jennifer and Michelle and Ariwana and Jeff. Good morning. So happy to see your faces. If you're not on here seeing you showing your face, I'm still happy to see you. I like to acknowledge those who share their pearly whites with me. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, I've closed a home a week since 2016. Been in the business since 2015, and started here not knowing anyone. Literally had moved here, knew no one, and needed to figure out how to do real estate. So I worked a full-time job for 9 months along with real estate, and I did real estate before work, at lunch, at dinner, and evening and weekends, and then was able to leap into full-time real estate. So the way I built my business is through social media. No paid ads, just organic, good old-fashioned connecting with people. And so that's what I talk about a lot, is how do we just connect with people? And we do it exactly how I just did, in terms of calling your names out, mentioning Michael's hair, talking about Ann's cool glass frames, acknowledging that I've met Tim before. Those are all phenomenal, simple, yet difficult ways to connect with people. So we'll talk about a bunch of things here. I love question and answer. I love interactive. So if at any point during it you want to poke, and I'll either put a pin in it, we'll talk about it, or we'll talk about it right on the spot. So when I was doing, prior to real estate, I worked that 9-to-5 job. The job that I did was working at a blood center. And the deal was I needed to set 5 appointments a week to convert people from whole blood donations, which is a very simple 15-minute process, blood out, done, right? They get a cookie, life's happy. To platelets, which is a 2-hour process. They take the blood out of your body, they put it through a machine, they put it back in your body. It's very scary. So my job was to call people who were whole blood and convert them to platelets, and my goal was 5 appointments a week. After a week and a half of doing the phone calls, I was setting 5 appointments a day. And the sales managers were like, what are you doing? Like, how are you getting 5 appointments a day? And I said, well, I'm connecting with people. Well, how do you do that? You're talking to them on the phone. And I was like, well, just listen to my stuff. And because I didn't know, I was like, I don't know. I just connect with people. So we listened to my calls, and I did things like, if I were calling Jeff Morrill from Colorado Springs, I would say, hey, Jeff, this is Robin Mann from the Community Blood Center of the Carolinas. So Morrill Mushrooms, is that that's the same? Is that how you say your name? Right?
I've heard it moral. I've heard it morale. We say morale.
Morale, however you say it. And so he would correct me. We would talk, right? So immediately I go in for a connection. I don't go in for calling to make sure that you're going to do platelets because that's a scary process and this whole deal, right? I'm looking for a means to connect. As soon as he opens his mouth, I have another clue. I'm looking for clues. Real estate is all about clues. Lead generation is all about clues. Clues, connecting, and then continuing. Those are the 3 C's that I work with. So clues, connecting, continuing that conversation. So that's really four. So what clues can I get from Jeff? Morel mushrooms, we could talk about that for a minute. Does he even know what they are? What is the heritage of morel or moral? Like, we can go into that. And then I'll circle back around. So Jeff, I noticed you're A positive. Did you know that they throw away 90% of the A positive blood that people donate?
I had no idea.
They do, actually. So that was part of my script. And that's so funny. That was 9 years ago. I still remember it. But you need to be you need to be a platelet donor because they'll actually use your blood. So I went in, I connected, I gave him some information to educate him. Then I asked, does that sound important to you? Do you want your blood thrown away? Or do you want to actually use it? Okay, great. Let's do this process. Sign him up. Boom. Right? So I would have just converted Jeff right now to platelets. Right? You would have done it.
I would have done it. Yes.
You would have done it. So looking for clues, and everywhere you go and everything you do in lead generation is about clues, connecting, continuing that conversation, and then having the conversation. And that is effective communication. If I had called Jeff and said, hey, Jeff, this is Robin Mann from Blood Center of the Carolinas. Do you want to get platelets? I'm not communicating. I am communicating, but I am doing it very poorly, right? Who knows what's the number one thing people want in the world more than anything else? If you go down to the core thing, what is the number one thing that they want? If this happens, everything else falls into line.
Self-recognition.
Good answer.
Maybe.
What else? Friendship. Yep.
To be listened,
Say it, Ty.
to talk about themselves.
To talk about themselves, and then not just to talk about themselves, because Ty, if you just talk to me and the entire time, this is what I'm doing.
Right. Talk and listen, be heard.
They want to be heard. Thank you, Ty. That's what I was looking for. The number one thing that people want in this world is to be heard. Like, go deep on that. Go way deep on that and think about that. If you're homeless, what do you need? You need a home. How do you get a home? You need to be heard. If you're at a doctor's office, what happens? You need to be heard. If you're dying or if you're celebrating, what do you want? You want to be heard, right? So as much as we can tie that into our business, boom, that's where the magic happens. If I called Tim up today and let him talk for 45 minutes and I did some active listening with him, ooh, that's great. Tell me more. I don't even have to say anything else, the whole conversation. Ooh, what else? Tell me more about that. Explain. Tim is going to leave that conversation thinking I'm the coolest person he's ever met. And I told him nothing about myself. Because I helped him feel heard. Think about your own personal relationships when they've had struggles. What's the basis of that? You didn't feel heard. They didn't feel heard. Right? So, how does this relate to real estate? How do we take this and make it about doing business? I don't pay for leads. I don't, I connect with people to get leads. As I said, 80% of my business, 85% of my business has come from Facebook. Prior to that, it was door knocking and open houses. I knocked out the open houses because I didn't like them. Door knocking, I can crush door knocking because it's the same thing as cold calling. It's about walking up to a door, looking at their wreath, looking at their dog flag, talking about the child that comes through the door, and it's about connecting with them. Every single way you do lead gen is about clues. And the clues are, what clue can you find to connect with the person? Kathy Carter's from Nashville, Tennessee. Oh my gosh, my daughter lives in Nashville. I lived in Clarksville for a while. Have you been to Clarksville?
Of course.
Everything, I mean, so there's also a lot of free association in my brain. I am constantly searching. I'm like one of those little algorithms, constantly searching. What can I do to connect with this person? So in doing that, tell me what am I using? If right now we're all looking at Mike Ockert, what am I doing when I look at him? I'm looking at him, I'm listening to him, I'm looking at his background, I'm looking at his shirt, I'm looking at his hair. If I'm on the phone, I'm listening for his accent. If I called him and I know his address, I'm mentioning his address, right? So if you're doing cold calls of any capacity, find clues, connect, get to the business, and then how do you continue the conversation? Okay. All right, let's say we move past. Who has questions on that? Okay. And it's so simple, it's easy, but it's hard, right? This can be done
One
every
thing that
single.
comes to my mind, Robin, as you're talking is I'm always so anxious, ready, whatever the right word is, to get to my point of why I'm calling.
Yes.
And so what I'm hearing you say and what I'm thinking about is you get to slow down and listen. And I'm KW days from before, and one of their values is seek first to
Understand.
understand before being understood, right?
Yes.
And so it's that concept. It's so simple, like you said, but yet so powerful.
Yes. And the reason for your call, I'm going to say this, but it's true. The reason for your call is irrelevant. Truly. Because if I call you and you've just dealt with a crisis of some form, or you just received celebratory information of some kind, you do not care why I'm calling. Right? Now, I do preface my husband. I am human. I don't do this all the time. Like, I'm not good at this all the time. I do preface my husband, and he will pick up the phone and I will say, I have to tell you why I'm calling, and then I want to hear about you. Like, I do that a lot because I have a reason I'm calling that needs an answer now. And then we will get into what he wants to say. So think about this when social media is the same exact thing. And do you guys use social media? Like if you use it, say yes or no, or, okay. And my other question is, are you using it well? Are you doing it correctly? If you have someone that's sending your stuff out and it's the same crap that Chuck and Jennifer and Brad are sending out, I can tell you right now, you're not doing social media well. Okay. It has to be personal. It has to be engaging, and it has to be the same exact thing. Connecting, continuing, making conversations. It's all about communicating with folks. So let's say right now, I walk into this room. Y'all had never seen me before today, as many of you have not. And I say the first thing, Kathy does that beautiful introduction. And then I say, hey, I've got 5 listings right now. Here's the information on them. And then I leave. That is what we're doing in social media right now. And if that just slapped you in the face, I am so sorry. But it's true. They don't care. They can go to MLS and see your listing. What they care about is the story. Hey guys, these people have been working on this house. I cannot believe the before and after of how they made this house ready for sale. look at this lifestyle you could have in this backyard. And you extrapolate on that, right? That is going to hit. Even that, though, is not going to hit if you're not part of a community. So a lot of people come into these community groups, a lot of realtors, and they do exactly like that. They vomit. Here's my open house. Here's my listing. Here's my sale. They're not communicating. You're literally just vomiting on a group. Our job is to go into the group and become a human. So I do a 22-day social media challenge, and in that challenge, that's what we do. Your job would be, like, some of the tasks are: go into your local community group that is an active group. It's not just a spam group, and comment on 3 people's posts. Go into your local community group and share a local business event or sale or something that's happening, right? Because that, I am communicating, I am being of value. When I first started out, to bring this home to how I brought it into real estate, when I first started out with real estate, I said I worked a full-time job. On my lunch break, I would go to this one group called Valentine Connection. Right now, it probably has 25,000 members, but back then it probably had 10. But at lunch, I was new to the area. I didn't know anyone. I knew nothing, but people would ask a question. What's the best Italian restaurant in town? I did not know because I was new to town. I did know how to look up Yelp reviews, right? And I would go to Yelp and I'd be like, hey, Pewitt, thanks for that question. I've seen that Mario's is supposedly the best place in town. I did not say I'd been there. I did not say I liked it. I said, supposedly it's the best place in town. Now, Pewitt values me. He was heard, right? He said, oh, that Robin Mann. So then 3 weeks from now, he asked a question about the pumpkin patch. I'm like, I don't know. Or I go research. These are the 3 closest to our area. Now, again, I am in Pewitt's brain. We're not Facebook friends. He doesn't know me. But the next time I post in there, he's going to like my stuff. Right? That is exactly how I built my business on Facebook. I became the mayor of groups. I made people feel heard. I communicated with them. Then I would pepper in questions. Hey guys, if you were to say the best neighborhood in town in the $500,000 to $700,000 range has a phenomenal social community, which one would you recommend? And you can add in there, I'm doing some market research for my clients who are moving here. You just told everyone you're a realtor without vomiting realtor on them. Okay. So the post comes up. Hey, I'm looking for a realtor to sell my house. Who has seen those? Looking for a realtor to sell my house. Who do you recommend? Whoever wins those. I win them a lot, like a lot. One, I win them because I'm in that group every single day, like it's my job, because you know what? It's my job. And I'm in that group, loving on those people, talking to them, giving them suggestions, adding funny stuff, adding great information, sharing businesses. So when someone asks about a realtor, boom, they think Robin Mann. Now, if that doesn't happen, if they don't recommend me, what I do is I message Arowana and I say, I'll message her on the board right there, Arowana, and I'll say something that's very unique to me, which this is something I often say. Arowana, I treat clients like family members that I like. I would love to be considered. Then I go to Arawana's page and I look her up and I find out something I can connect with. And then I message her and I say, oh my gosh, Arowana, I didn't know I'm making this up because I don't know anything about you, Arowana, but I didn't know that you're from Kentucky. I have only been there once and it was so beautiful. They had tobacco barns and I'd never seen a tobacco barn in my life before. By the way, I'm a local realtor, closed a house a week since 2016. Please let me know. I would love to be of help to you. Please let me know. And I friend request her. My close rate on that, it's through the roof. There'll be 100 realtors that have commented. I will win it. And it is, for me, it is a win. It's a game. It's a big game. I'm going to win that. Okay. So, clues, connect with those clues. Then we take it to the next conversation. Once she responds, continuing the conversation. All right, Arowana, okay, this is where we go. Continuing the conversation is the 5 W's and the H. If you don't have the 5 W's and the H, you can't do your job. The 5 W's are who, what, when, where, why, and how. I used to have this written on my computer. That was a script that when I was doing a conversation with someone, I could make sure I was having these questions answered, because I'm not going to ask, well, who's buying this house? I'm not asking that way. What I'm going to ask is, Jennifer, are you, is this home for you, or you're going to be with a partner? Like, who else is going to get to be part of this process? Tell me more about, like, this sounds very exciting. Tell me more about who all we get to play with. Right? And she's going to expound upon that. And then I'm not going straight to who, what. I'm not going to what just right then. I'm going to stay in who in a minute. I'm going to learn. I'm going to communicate. Oh, wow. So you have 2 kids. Tell me about them. Like, what do they do on a Saturday? Because I'd love to know, like, what kind of yard we're going to need. Or are you looking for a community pool? Or, right? I'm going to lean into the who. I want her to think I am invested in her, because you know what? I'm invested in her. Lean into the who until she feels heard. All right, what? What are we looking for? What are the non-negotiables? What are the must-haves? What are the things that, if it has that, you're not going to buy it? Why is that important to you? And then when they tell you those things, again, don't just move on to the next question. Lean into it with them. Well, why do you want a long driveway? Why is it important to have a laundry room? What do you have now? Okay. Who, what, when? When? When are we doing this? Is this next year, next month, this week? Can you go today? That's my favorite question. All right, great. Can you go today? Can we meet up today? I want to be as excited as they are. And I can fit them in for a 15-minute Zoom right now. Now, I believe that's a massive one. I believe that if you can be Johnny on the spot, not to the point where you're just like, I'm going to use the word whoring yourself out. I don't know if that's not a proper phrase, but but set boundaries, work it within your schedule. But you can find 15 minutes. You can find 10 minutes to be on a quick FaceTime with them. I just want to see your face. I just want to connect. All right, when are we doing this? Who, what, when? Who, what, when, where? All right. Do we have to be in this particular area? Are you open to these areas? Why that area? What's going on there? How far do you have to commute? If they're not from your town, do they know it takes an hour from point A to point B? Because they think they want point A, but if you're commuting, you're going to need point B. Let's talk through that. Who, what, when, where, why? Why are we doing this? Why are you buying this house? Why are you selling a house? That one, live in that one. The kids have moved out. My mom's moving in. We had a baby. We got a new job. All the things. Live in it. Don't be a therapist, but live in it. Who, what, when, where, what, why? Ooh, why? Ooh, that's so exciting. Celebrate with them. When they tell you they have a new grandbaby and the mom and the baby are coming to live with them, oh my gosh, is that a dream come true? And they're like, no, it's absolute hell, but we're going to make it happen. Okay. Well, look at you. Taking one for the team. And then we get around to the how. Who, what, when, where, why, and then how. The 5 W's and the H. The how. Do you need a lender? Is the inheritance paying for this? When does the inheritance pay out? It's cash? 1031 exchange? Know the questions to ask. Call your lender and say, hey, if I meet someone, what questions do I need to ask them? Who, what, when, where, why, how. If you have those, you have everything you need to move forward. If you leave any of one of those short, you're going to have to go back and ask it again until you lean into it and listen. Okay, questions on those? Is this helpful at all? Cool.
Yes.
Good. Who, what, when, where, why, how. If you don't have one of those, you're stuck. And they're so simple, but they're so important. Why are we doing this? If you don't have the why, you got nothing to push when they get cold feet. This is your clues. This is your leverage. This is your tools. If you don't know when, what am I going to do today? Like, am I jumping on this for Sean, or am I like just going to put him on a drip campaign where I touch him every other month? I need to know. Right? All of those. All right, the 4 C's, the 5 W's, and the H. 2 ears. You were created with 2 ears and 1 mouth. I believe there's a science behind that. Shut your mouth. Put your ears on. And hear your people.
Robin,
Yes.
did I hear you? I had only written 3 of the C's down. The clue, the connect, and conversation. What was the 4th one?
Continuing it. Continuing the
Continuing.
connections. Continuing the conversations. Yeah. I like simple little things like this, because in my brain, I can even, or even on my pocket, I can have even on my calendar, I've written at times 4 C's. Or if I'm in a listing appointment, or if I'm in an impromptu listing appointment in a grocery store, or in a, or with a buyer's appointment in a grocery store, I know if I can get these 4 C's rocking, or if I can get the 5 W's and the H in a conversational manner, now I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, the key to all of this, I think, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. I was
Okay.
going to say the key, I think, is the conversational manner.
Yes.
Coming across with just question.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're just like, okay, tell me who, now when, now what, now why, and where, that's not going to work. You're their new friend. You're their new you're their new confidant, their new, not confidant really, but your new resource. Here's what you need to know. So I love door knocking. I taught this wonderful man, he's a really sweet guy, introverted fella, how to door knock. He would go do my method where I talk about the 4 C's and the 5 W's, not really the 5 W's, more just the 4 C's. And then we lead the 4 C's have to happen, and the 5 W's typically happen in step 2. You know, you connect, then the next step 2 is the 5 W's. You might learn some of the 5 W's and the H during the first part, but During a door knock, you're definitely just doing the 4 C's, right? You're going to get some clues. You're going to connect. You're going to just have some nice conversation, right? Here's the piece he missed. He comes to me one day after a month of door knocking. He brings me a book that's like this big, excuse me, a notebook. Because I told him, I was like, after you leave a door, write down all the notes. Put it in your database and follow up. And it could be, you know, knocked on the door, it had a dogwood wreath, and the house looked a little bit beat up. Nobody answered. I left my business card, 412 Loan and Drive, right? So he did that. The part that he didn't do is what?
Connect.
Well, yes, you're
The clue.
no, you're exactly right, Mike. He did do the clues. What he didn't do, he had this big notebook. He had no business because he missed the last part of the instructions, which were to put it in your database and then follow up. So all he had was this cool diary of door knocking. He had done nothing with it. Door knocking is not about advertising your open house, posting on actually any lead gen. It's not about, doesn't matter if it's door knocking, if it's Facebook, if it's TikTok, if it's cold calls. It's not about telling about the open house. It's about getting as much information as you can to make a connection, to then make a deal, to get some clues, make a connection, have a conversation, and then keep the conversation going. So he did a whole bunch of work, but he didn't keep the conversation going. The way you keep the conversation going is the follow-up. So a follow-up on that. Let's say I knocked on the door, nobody answered. There was a dogwood wreath on the door. The house looked a little bit beat up. I wrote down the address. I came home. I put it in my database. All I could put in the database was the address and the notes. I don't know the people's name. I can find the people's name. Where can I find it?
Tax records.
Tax records. And then I can set a task to follow up. The follow-up task could be a nice little note with a dogwood flower on it, because I know that they like dogwood flowers, right? It says, hey, I stopped by the other week, weren't home, saw the dogwood. It's one of my favorite trees. If you need something in real estate, let me know. I'd love to connect. Put that in my database, sent a card. This is what it said. Follow up. I can do that for a year to follow up with them. I have their address. I could hunt them down on Facebook. Right? Hey, there is a handyman special coming to town. They're pressure washing all the houses. Don't know if you'd be interested in this or not, but I thought of you. Okay. Follow up. How many touches does it take to get a deal?
7.
I hear 7. How many else?
I think it's 7.
7. It has increased. When I began saying this statement, it was 8. Now they say it's 12. We quit after 2, most often. Yeah, they're not interested.
You drip or talk to them until they ask you to stop.
So I don't like to use the word drip because nobody wants to be dripped on. If I'm sitting right here and there's a drip, what am I going to do? I'm moving. It's annoying as hell. Nobody wants to be dripped on, right? I connect. So I connect, and yes, I connect until I get a no. And I love to play the 100 no's game. 100 no's. This is a challenge you can give yourself today. Your goal is to get 100 no's. When you get a yes, you have to start over. Dang it.
Mhm.
Got a listing appointment. Grr. Right? I like to play games. I'm very competitive. So if I have a game, I want to win. So I want 100 no's. If I get 99, dang it. Just got a buyer's agent. Just got a buyer. Make it fun. Okay. That's what I got. Who wants to poke into any of that or ask questions about any of that?
Robin, great information. How do you track it? What's been your favorite way to track the information?
Love it. Love it. Love it. Great question, Pewitt. Is that your real name, Pewitt?
Scott.
Scott?
Yeah, Scott Pewitt. Yeah.
Okay. I'm calling you Pewitt from now on. Just Pewitt. And it reminds me of pew 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 pew, like Star Wars. Pew, pew.
Great.
Track it. Okay. This, you're gonna laugh at me. This is how I tracked it in the beginning. Swear to goodness, this is what I did. I had to deal with myself in the beginning of real estate that I was going to do 20 contacts a day. Non-negotiable. 20 contacts a day, right? If I did not have 20 of these, I did not go to sleep. You see that? That's my tracking, but that's not my full tracking. But this is how I held myself accountable. If I did not have 20 little tally marks, and my 4 desk, it was covered in this for years. Okay. That. Poor sweet Wally man, my God bless America husband over there. It would be midnight. I'm on my machine doing something. What are you doing, babe? I have 2 more. I didn't do 20. Okay. Then, Scott, you put it in your database. You put in as much information as you can. This does not have to be hours of stuff. It shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. Unless you've gotten a yes, then it might, because you're going to move to the next step. But in the beginning, 30 minutes, left a voicemail, follow up in 3 days. We spoke, she's not interested, reach out in a month. Like, that's all you have to do. Now, in the beginning, I used a very simple system called Realty Juggler. KV Core does the same exact thing. I don't know what we're changing to. I haven't followed any of that. But the biggest thing you can do in your database is 1, use it. And then 2, put the information in and then set a follow-up task. The follow-up task, you should get something on your calendar, or you should, when you pull up the system, it should say today's date, and here's the things you need to do. I need to talk to Chuck. I need to make sure I reach out to Anne. Michelle and I have not connected in a month. I need to follow up with her. Right? It gives you your to-do list. It's your cheat sheet. It's so bloomin' simple. Put it in there, set a task, do, repeat. Repeat. Great question.
It reminded me, there was this morning I get up and I'm looking through my list of calls I got to make today and stuff on my calendar. And one of the calls is it's a realtor that I talked to back about 6 weeks ago. And, we've been talking about, she's interested in EXP. She might be moving over here sometime here in the next couple of months. But anyway, she had made note to me, or she told me when we were talking, and it was a cold call when I called her. That, there's just a lot going on right now. My dad's having surgery the last week of September, whatever. And again, just like you're talking about, I made a note of that and put it in my database.
Yes.
So on my list, and I told her, I said, hey, real quick, just so you know, I keep a list in my phone, just like a prayer list, and I will put your dad on there, just so you know, and put all you guys on there. And she's like, oh, wow, that's so awesome. Thank you so much, and whatever. So it's on my list today. I'm just going to send her a text. I'm not going to call her. I'm not going to bother,
Right.
but just to send her a text, hey, just let you know I'm thinking about your dad. I hope you're doing well. Look forward to talking again soon. Definitely praying for you guys. Just something, and
That's
just
your game changer. That's
I've
significant.
learned those little connections like that when you listen and you make note of that and keep track of that. And I've done that for 20 some years now with clients.
Right.
You get a lead that comes in and you call them and you have that talk and there's something in there, or if you find them on Facebook and
Yep.
I don't know, their son just, scored a touchdown Friday night at the football game. I mean, I'm going to like make a note of then do something,
Yeah.
post something about that or congratulate him or whatever. Hey, I saw the post about your son. That's awesome.
I love
Whatever.
it.
Hope you guys are having a great fall. I mean, just different things like that you can connect.
Exactly. And I do
people.
that with past clients with send out cards. I
Yeah.
love send out cards. I do that and man, they eat it up. You just go find the picture of the son, you send it, and this was awesome. Good for you. And man, and not every single time. That was so great. Thank you for that. Their dog dies, I send it. Their mom dies, I send something. They have a baby, we send something. So
Yeah. Those
I
little
love
things,
that.
it will set you apart from 99% of the realtors out there who are
Absolutely.
just on to the next deal and finding the next deal. And I got to find the next deal. And it's just, and I get it. We're all looking for the next deal, but it's those connections will get you many deals.
Exactly.
Is what I've seen with it, so no, good stuff, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that Jennifer Eastburn is like Max Headroom right now. For those of you who are Gen X, you know who Max Headroom is, but she's been doing her screen's been popping out like Max the whole time. It made me laugh. All right. Anybody else got anything? Thank you for that, Jeff.
Yeah.
I have a question. What are what are note cards, or what type of note cards can you use?
Oh, for send out notes, send out cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so send out cards. I can I have an affiliate link if you want to check it out. I think I get paid if you buy things, but I don't mean to sell it. I'm just telling you that's what I use. But all it is a program where it's a template. You set up a template and like you pick a picture. So I'd put a picture of Kathy saying, "Hey, thanks for having me." And I put a picture of like not her headshot, but like a candid of her and her family. And then on the inside, it would say, "Thanks so much for having me on the call. That made me feel special." And then on the back, it has my picture, love Robin, your favorite realtor. And I would actually send it to her house. So like, it's just, and you can do it all from your phone. It's pretty quick. Most people, if you just text them and say, "Hey, I'm sending you something. What's your address?" They'll shoot it to you. So it's called send out cards. If you want to message me, I'll send you my link if you want to try it.
Okay.
Robin.
How do I message you?
Workplace. Do you do workplace?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and what is your name?
I'm Robin Mann, Mann.
Robin Mann.
Mhm.
Mann.
Mann, like a man but with two N's.
Okay, thank you, Robin.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tom.
Robin, not a plug for send out cards. I also use send out cards for very much the same reason, plus anniversary, their sale or buy anniversary gifts.
Love it. Yes. I
And
love it.
their brownies, everybody loves. So if you're looking just for a cheap gift.
I'll just say that the brownies, believe it or not, is the anniversary gift. I have never, ever, and I've been doing it probably 8 years, 10 years. They love them. They call the best brownies they've ever had. So they're
I've heard
amazing.
the same. Yeah.
That's
I've heard-
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
hey,
talking
my-
about send out cards, Robin, like one of the things that came to my mind when you were talking about sending cards, I too have used them, not religiously like you have, but I've used them. But it made me think about the door knocking when you were talking about the door knocking, and you used the example of the dogwood tree and the wreath on their door. I mean, imagine versus just sending a little card, you sent a picture of their
Mhm.
dogwood tree that you
Yeah.
just said, was your favorite tree, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, again, just that little touch of connection
Yep.
versus just even a handwritten note, like a picture, like you open it up and you see the picture of a tree in your yard
Yeah.
that jumps out. Anyway,
awesome. that
came to my mind, and I was like, see, even those little additional touches make a huge difference.
Wow. And you know what? I did not, well, I did this, but I'll tell you the whole story. Like this would be a great thing to do as well, especially during the holidays for Halloween or for the fall or Christmas, any holidays. But I will often I will do it this year because I've only done it just for pleasure in the past, but now I will turn it into a business opportunity. Typically what I'll do is just take pictures of their front porch or the front of their house or their yard and be like, I'll just post it on my social media. Like, oh, look at this house. They did this today. I absolutely love it. Well, wow. I can send them a send out card now. And say,
Yeah.
dude, I really loved your front door, your front yard decor. And now they know I'm a realtor. They know that I love their house. They know I'm a kind of a cool person. So yeah, thanks for that idea, Kathy. You just gave me. Drive-by photos.
Buy photos, drop a card. That's great.
Mhm.
Especially if it's in an area you live or wanting to farm or do
Yeah,
farm or
exactly.
anything that, like, man, that's just a money idea.
Yeah, that is a money idea. I like that one.
Well, you took it to another level. See, I wasn't thinking there, so you took it to the next level. I love it.
That's great stuff. I had some people I worked with. It was a lead that came in, just a buyer lead. They were looking at homes, and I got in touch with them. This is back quite a while ago, but it was 8 years before they ended up doing anything. And it was
Wow.
so funny because they were in just kind of an automated system, and I connected with them. I'd call them, half the time of when they said to call back, and I just was doing all that stuff along the way. And finally, all of a sudden, they called me up like, okay, we're ready to. They need to sell their house and then buy the next house and moving up. And it's funny because they just told me, they said, look, our next door neighbor's a realtor. Our best friends at church is a realtor, but there's no way we would feel guilty if we used anybody else besides you,
I love it.
And then, so I sold their house, they bought another house, and then we ended up selling that house and they bought another house. We've done 4 deals now
That's
over the
amazing.
last, I've been doing this for 22 years. I mean, so it's been, whatever, but it's led to, 50,000 in commission just because of
Right.
that follow up and staying in touch
Exactly.
and that
Yeah, I
communication
have
that we're
one
talking
that
about.
I knocked on their door 4 years ago and we spoke and I really liked them. They liked me and I've just stayed in touch like that through the years. They last year, literally, I don't know these people from y'all. I'm like, I don't know them at all, except for that I knocked on the door. Last year, they're in Germany and they FaceTime me. I don't know them. We are not friends. But they FaceTime me and they're like, oh my gosh, Robin, you're gonna have to see this. And they show me like I have a creepy baby doll collection. They were like, we knew you, we thought of you, and blah blah blah. And so now we're listening. This past spring, we listed their house. It took 4 years,
Yeah.
but I was just in their brain because I had connected with them.
Awesome.
So to me, that's what it's about. Hi, Kaylin.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping on.
Hi, I was driving for a little bit, so I have a question about your door knocking methods. So I'm currently really focusing on farming my neighborhood. I farmed it when I first started back in 2019 for a couple years, and then I stopped, and now I'm getting back into it. And so I feel like even though I've had a little bit of a break, people still remember me, kind of know who I am. But the door knocking thing is not something I've ever been okay with. Like, I just feel like I'm intruding, So I guess, what would you suggest for like a neighborhood specific thing where I'm probably not totally unknown, but there might be there's probably a lot of people who don't know me.
Love it. Great question. I'm
Yeah.
going to say 2 things in case I'm totally cool with staying around because I know we started late, but let me tell this and then I'm going to answer that. If anybody wants to join me, and this is a brokerage agnostic. We do nothing but it's called Real Estate MF. It's Monday through Friday. It's 9:15 to 9:45 a.m. Eastern. And it's every Monday through Friday. It's a Zoom call. We're also live on Instagram and live on TikTok. You can find the link on my Instagram, but it's called Real Estate MF, 9:15 to 9:45 every Monday through Friday. I'd love for you guys to come on there. We talk lead gen, we talk accountability, we talk mindset, we talk NAR, we talk everything. So just wanted to put that out there in case anybody had to bolt, because I'd love to have folks on there. We've got people from Texas. We've got Canada, Texas and Canada used to have Seattle, but it's too early for her. So, but we have people from all over. So anyways, if you want to do that sometime, I'd love to have you there.
What's your Instagram so that we can find you?
I think it's the Robin Mann. Let me see.
Robin.
I think it's the Robin Mann. Let me see. So, okay, door knocking. This is what I would do. Yeah, the Robin Mann, ROBINMANN, the Robin Mann. So, door knocking, a neighborhood that maybe people know you. Here's my deal with door knocking. Thank you, Tim, so much for being here. Here's my deal with door knocking. Same exact thing. You change your mindset. You're not there to get a listing. Okay. You're not there to sell you. You are there to learn. You are there to connect. You are there to be a resource. So when I door knock, even if it is to get a listing, the premise that I knock the door with, even if it's an open house, that's just a side note. The premise that I'm knocking the door with is, hey, now I will immediately connect with them. Again, I don't say, hey, I'm Robin Mann. I wanted to tell you that. Nope. I say, hey, I'll say, hey, and then I hand in my card, I back up, and then I will, my first thing I will say to them is a connection. Either what came out the door, or their hair, or their glasses, or the wreath, or the yard, or something, right? That is my first script piece. And it requires you finding the clues. That's my first piece. After we converse about that a little bit, the next piece is, I'm having an open house in the neighborhood and I'm doing market research. Or reverse that sentence. I'm doing market research because we're doing an open house. I just listed that house down there. What are the top 2 things you love about this neighborhood? How long have you lived here? You own your house? Oh. All those things that you need to find out if they're ready to sell their house, you ask in a beautiful conversational manner. What's something you would tell people to not buy the neighborhood? Who's the nosy neighbor that you hate? I'll go knock on their door and see if they'll sell. I say that a lot.
I'm lucky because I have 2 nosy neighbors who I happen to be friends with, and one of them came to me back in May and was like, "Hey, I was talking to the neighbor across the street. She said she's moving." So I did go and walk over there with my little dog. I'm like, "Hey, I just, Colleen said that you might be moving. I just want to let you know." And their house, I just sold it last week. We closed.
Good job.
So I am friendly with the neighbors, but yeah, anyway, go on. So
But the
find
market, like it's a market research thing.
I like that.
What do you know that I should know? Is there a gas station coming in? Are the schools being rezoned? This is one of my most, like that neighborhood with the German couple that I was telling you about. They, that neighborhood, I literally picked it because it was the neighborhood I wanted to farm. I loved the neighborhood. I loved the price point. I knew it was an older neighborhood that would have some turnover. And so I picked it intentionally. It was close to my home. And so I just started knocking that neighborhood. And yes, they knew me. And I knocked 3 times a year. Yep, just me popping in. Here's your popcorn. I was popping by. Just make it you. Make it authentic.
Okay.
Bring
I'm still going to
champagne.
struggle, but
I
I
brought
like that.
Well, I brought like little mini bottles of champagne. I brought that one time around for New Year's.
Oh, how cute.
I did that the week after Christmas. But I just thought and I gave them the choice. They could pick sparklers or champagne. I've sold 8 homes in that neighborhood. And it's just a tiny little neighborhood.
What, like, number of houses tiny? What does that mean?
I would say not even 100.
Oh, wow. That is tiny. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little neighborhood, but I loved it. It's a great neighborhood.
8 houses. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
If they're not home, did you leave those things with a note, or did you just send them a little card after?
If they were not home, no, I would not leave an alcohol or a sparkler because, lawsuit. But I probably would just pass by and try to knock back again, especially if I had knocked the neighborhood before and knew that they've lived there for 20 years, or they just purchased and they may have family that's going to move to town. Again, I'm looking for the clues. If they're renters, yeah, I would just leave a note. Hey, I dropped by. I have a little Cersei for you. Text me and I'll bring it by. Because if they text you, what happens?
Well, now you got their number.
You have their number. And you've been by 3 other times, so they know you're not just some weird, stupid stalker person. Oh yeah, it's that woman that knocks on our door all the time. All right.
I have a question. What's the last one of the 3 C's?
So the 3 and 4 are kind of combined, but look for clues.
Right. Connect.
And you
Right.
lean into it, and then just more conversation.
So
more
I lost you there. So clues, connect, and then what?
continue the conversation, and then conversation, just more conversation.
Okay, continue conversation and more conversation. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, always the open-ended questions. You know, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's that about?
It's good. Anybody else have any final questions? This is great, Robin. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having
sharing with
me.
me. Like you said, it's simple, but so critically important. And not something that we talk about a lot, you know, in our industry. We don't really talk about like truly connecting with people. It's like, hey, you know, here's your script, here's this, here's that. Well, you know, we learn all the how-tos, but no one really talks about connecting. And so
Yeah.
it's so critical.
It is. It will make all the difference.
Yeah.
I've had multiple deals that we've done over the years. Just 'cause I'll look for ways to I'll look for reasons to compliment people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
just start that conversation. I'm in a coffee shop and I'm standing in line and just, you know, whatever. Right now it's football season. So it's an easy conversation around here in Colorado. I mean, everybody's, you know, they're wearing a Broncos jersey. And it's an easy, you know, what do you think about the game last weekend? What do you think about, you know, the new quarterback, Bo Nix? I mean, we'll start talking, you know, whatever. Hey, I like those shoes. Where do you get those shoes? I mean, just like these little things, and it starts a conversation, and, you know,
Yeah.
it's led to multiple deals over the years. You know,
Exactly.
by just doing that. Stand in line at the grocery store, sitting in a doctor's office in the waiting room, just
Right.
whatever, dentist office, whatever it might be. There's just reasons. Just look for reasons to start a quick conversation, and you'll
Well,
get
the
some.
crazy thing is put your phone down. Like everybody just gets lost
There
in
you
your
go.
phone.
Yeah,
Put your phone
everybody.
down.
Yeah, that's just
Everybody.
for sure.
You
So,
know, and if you can get their name, use their name. You know,
Yes.
'cause isn't that the number one thing people say that they like to hear is their name?
Yeah.
And so use their name. If you can gather that in
Mhm.
conversation. So
Right. And
For
you
sure.
can, if you've begun a conversation with them, just that, what's your name again? And
yeah,
yeah, I missed your name. I'm Robin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
for sure. One last thing I'll add: my birthday's in a couple weeks, Mike. If you want to send me some brownies, I'll take some.
Hey, mine is too. What day is yours on, Jeff?
And mine was only a month ago. So a month ago
There you
today.
go.
So
I don't know.
it's not too late.
Oh,
I'll send you my address, Mike.
when is your birthday, Jeff?
October 14th.
Oh, I'm the 3rd. So
Okay.
I'll get
Oh,
the brownies first. I'll let you know if they're worth it.
Tomorrow, so
Oh, yay, Ann. Happy birthday.
thanks.
Hey, Jeff, they offer an option. Do you want that in satin?
Wait, you're
Oh, you
muted.
cut
What's
out.
that? You cut out. You're muted.
I said they offer an option. Do you want that in satin or pearl wrap?
Oh,
Oh,
ooh, ooh.
Really offer that now?
They
that's
do.
funny.
That's
Oh,
great.
wow.
That's
Oh,
funny.
I
That's
need
a
to get
great
back
group. So is
on.
this your rev share group or what group is this?
This is our so we do sales topic on Tuesdays. On Mondays we do rev share talk. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Love it.
yeah, we call ourselves the Freedom Team. So
I love
um
it. I've got 63 in my group, my
nice.
rev share group. So I lost a few this fall, but I was up to 70.
Yeah, this
but-
whole
There's-
industry, you know, I think
there's
agents
people leaving the
falling
business.
out and leaving the
Mhm.
business and yeah, all that stuff. On a complete side note, and then we'll go, but one of my agents just texted me today that Alabama, I'm in Tennessee, but he just said, what did he say? He said Alabama is let's see. Alabama Association of Realtors just announced that NAR membership is optional. Washington State has been doing it for years.
Wow.
So wow, it's
Interesting.
thing, I think, you know, to see if other states start falling behind. So I guess now that's what that the Association of Realtors announced that the NAR is optional.
That's significant. Hmm.
That's significant. So
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you again, Robin. This was amazing. Thank you everyone for
Thank
showing
you.
up. We will have this recording up. Would you like a copy of it, Robin?
I would absolutely love it. That'd be so great. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll send that out, and when that gets all completed, and, I'll send it to you, and, it'll be up, posted in the Freedom Team group, everybody, in the next probably 24 hours or so. So thank you all for being here. Thank you again, Robin.
Great
Come
job,
tomorrow. We do
Robin.
our agent to connect to collaborate tomorrow. So come back and, we can talk more about this or any other topic that, you have on your mind.
Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Robin.
Robin.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Robin, this is-
Bye, everybody.
Robin, this is
Bye.
Ty. I'll reach out to you through Workplace.
All right, cool. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Y'all.
Bye. Thanks
Bye.
again, Robin. Bye-bye.